Welcome to Olympus to Asgard. What ancient myth worlds tell us about the divine? In this journey across myth and time, we'll explore how ancient cultures imagined the homes of their gods, from the soaring heights of Mount Olympus in Greece to the mystical realm of Asgard in Norse legend. What do these divine realms reveal about humanity's search for meaning, power, and immortality? Join us as we uncover the secrets, stories, and symbolism behind the mythic worlds that shaped civilizations and still echo in our imagination today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more mythic insights. Since the dawn of human civilization, people have looked to the skies and beyond, wondering what lies above. From the mountains that pierced the clouds to the stars that dotted the night sky, ancient cultures imagined powerful realms inhabited by gods, divine figures who shaped their destinies and controlled the universe. Among the most iconic of these mythic worlds are Mount Olympus of ancient Greece and Asgard of Norse legend. Though these realms come from very different civilizations, they share striking similarities and deep spiritual meaning. This essay explores what these sacred places reveal about the cultures that created them, and what they still tell us today about humanity's view of the divine. 1. Mount Olympus, the heavenly seat of the Greek gods. In Greek mythology, Mount Olympus is not just a mountain. It is the cosmic center of divine authority. Rising high above the mortal world, Olympus was believed to be an actual physical location, based on the real Mount Olympus in northern Greece, yet also a mystical realm that only gods could access. The inhabitants of Olympus. The 12 Olympian gods, including Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, and others, made their homes here. These deities ruled over nature, human affairs, fate, and time. At the heart of Olympus was the golden palace of Zeus, king of the gods, who sat on a magnificent throne commanding storms, justice, and cosmic order. While the gods were immortal and powerful, they were not all-knowing or morally perfect. Greek deities had complex personalities, often vain, jealous, or quick-tempered, reflecting human traits in exaggerated form. This anthropomorphism made the gods both relatable and terrifying. The role of Olympus in myth. Mount Olympus was not just a location. It symbolized order, hierarchy, and divine balance. Myths like the Titanomachy, where Zeus and the Olympians overthrew the older generation of gods, the Titans, represented a shift toward rational, ordered rule. Olympus became the seat of a divine monarchy, mirroring Greek ideals of government and social structure. Even though humans could not physically reach Olympus, heroes like Hercules, were sometimes granted access as a reward for extraordinary deeds, reinforcing the idea that the divine realm could be approached through honor, virtue, and heroism. 2. Asgard, the sky fortress of Norse gods. Traveling north to the Norse worldview, we find Asgard, a very different yet equally majestic mythic world. In Norse cosmology, the universe was structured as a great tree called Yggdrasil, and Asgard was one of its highest branches, a fortified realm of the Aesir gods, such as Odin, Thor, Frigg, Balder, and others. The structure of Asgard. Unlike the mountaintop Olympus, Asgard was envisioned as a fortified celestial city, linked to the human world, Midgard, by the Bifrost, a rainbow bridge. Guarded by the watchful god Heimdall, this bridge symbolized the tenuous and sacred connection between mortal and divine. In the heart of Asgard stood Valhalla, the majestic hall of the slain, where warriors chosen by Odin and Valkyries would dwell until Ragnarok, the end of the world. Asgard, like Olympus, was home to divine councils, feasts, and epic tales, but with a far more somber tone. Asgard's themes and tone. The Norse gods were powerful, but they were not eternal. Even Odin, the All-Father, was destined to fall in the great battle of Ragnarok. This awareness of mortality and inevitable doom gave Norse mythology a darker, more fatalistic tone than the relatively stable world of Olympus. Whereas Olympus represented eternal order, Asgard was a realm constantly preparing for war, decay, and cosmic collapse. Yet within this grim outlook lay a profound nobility. Courage, loyalty, and honor in the face of inevitable death were the highest virtues. Asgard's divine stories thus reflected the harsh northern climate and warrior culture of the Norse people. 3. Comparing Olympus and Asgard. Similar structures, different meanings. Though Greek and Norse mythologies developed in vastly different regions, their divine realms share certain structural and symbolic similarities. Heavenly realms above the earth. Both Olympus and Asgard are elevated realms, literally placed above the world of humans. This positioning emphasizes a sense of divine separation and transcendence. To the Greeks, Olympus was on top of the highest mountain. To the Norse, Asgard floated in the heavens atop Yggdrasil. In both cases, the divine world is above not only in space, but in importance and purity. Bridges between worlds. Interestingly, both cultures imagine pathways between realms. For the Norse, the Bifrost Bridge connected Asgard to Midgard. In Greek myth, the Moirai, fates, and various divine messengers, like Hermes, moved between Olympus and Earth. These bridges and portals suggest that though the gods were distant, they were not entirely inaccessible. They could intervene or be approached. Divine councils and cosmic rule. Olympus and Asgard each feature divine assemblies. On Olympus, Zeus presided over a council of gods who debated human affairs and divine justice. In Asgard, Odin gathered the Aesir to prepare for future challenges, such as Loki's betrayal or the threat of the giants. These councils reflect human political systems, kingships, senates, tribal gatherings, and show how mythology often mirrors earthly governance, projecting idealized or feared systems onto the divine world. 4. What these realms tell us about ancient cultures. The mythic worlds of Olympus and Asgard were not just backdrops for fantastical stories. They were spiritual blueprints that shaped how people understood the universe, morality, and life itself. The Greek view, harmony, beauty, and human-like gods. Greek culture prized order, balance, beauty, and rationality, and Olympus reflected this. The gods were flawed but majestic, embodying aspects of human nature on a grand scale. They ruled from a shining mountaintop, overseeing a cosmos governed by reason, logos, and fate. Olympus emphasized the idea of immortal legacy, excellence, arete, and the pursuit of glory through heroism or wisdom. Even death could be transcended. Heroes could become gods. The fact that Olympus was attainable to a select few also reflects Greek values of achievement and distinction. To reach the gods was not about submission or fate. It was about becoming worthy. The Norse view, fate, struggle, and noble doom. Norse culture, shaped by a harsh environment and constant struggle, emphasized courage in the face of inevitable suffering. In Asgard, the gods knew their fate was sealed, yet they chose to fight, to build, and to celebrate life. This worldview speaks to a belief in duty, loyalty, and stoicism. Divine beings were not perfect. They were warriors, leaders, and seers. The highest virtue was not eternal life, but a meaningful end. Asgard also reveals a cosmos in tension between order and chaos, life and death, gods and giants. This duality reflects a more cyclical view of time, where destruction leads to rebirth. 5. Modern reflections. Why these myths still matter. Why do these ancient divine worlds still resonate today? Beyond their beauty and drama, Olympus and Asgard reflect timeless questions. What is the divine? How do we live with mortality? What makes life meaningful? In a world where scientific understanding has replaced myth for many, the emotional and symbolic truths of Olympus and Asgard remain powerful. They remind us that the divine can be flawed, like us, making it relatable. Courage matters, even in the face of doom. The universe is a place of both order and mystery. Heroism, sacrifice, and wisdom remain universal ideals. These realms have also influenced literature, films, and pop culture, from the Iliad and the Lord of the Rings to Marvel's Thor and Percy Jackson. They shape our imagination, our storytelling, and our longing for meaning. 6. The divine in the mirror of myth. From Olympus to Asgard, the ancient mythic worlds tell us more than just tales of gods. They reveal the soul of civilizations. The Greeks sought harmony and glory through reason and excellence. The Norse found nobility in endurance, fate, and sacrifice. Though their gods differed, one pantheon joyful and radiant, the other grim and warlike, both cultures used their mythic realms to grapple with the same questions. Where do we come from? What lies beyond life? What makes life worth living? In a sense, Olympus and Asgard are not just above us. They are within us. They reflect our fears, hopes, ideals, and longings. And by exploring them, we don't just learn about ancient myths. We learn about ourselves. In the vast and intricate cosmos of Norse mythology, few realms are as awe-inspiring and significant as Asgard, the celestial stronghold of the Aesir gods. Suspended high in the heavens and linked to Earth by a rainbow bridge, Asgard is more than just a setting for legendary tales. It is a spiritual epicenter, a fortress of divine power, and a reflection of the values, fears, and hopes of the Norse people. This essay explores the mythology of Asgard, its inhabitants, its architectural symbolism, and what this mythic realm reveals about the Norse worldview. From its towering halls to its fate in the apocalyptic Ragnarok, Asgard remains a powerful symbol of cosmic order and noble resistance in a chaotic world. 1. Asgard in Norse cosmology. To understand Asgard, one must first grasp the structure of the Norse cosmos. Unlike the single-sphere cosmologies of other mythologies, Norse mythology envisions the universe as Yggdrasil, a massive, sacred ash tree whose roots and branches connect the 9 realms. Asgard lies in the highest branches of Yggdrasil. It is the home of the Aesir gods, one of the 2 primary tribes of deities, the other being the Vanir. Asgard is positioned above Midgard, the human world, and connected to it by the Bifrost, a rainbow bridge guarded by the vigilant god Heimdall. This vertical arrangement of realms reflects a hierarchical structure of existence. Asgard, elevated and fortified, represents the apex of divine order and celestial authority. 2. Structure and significance of Asgard. Unlike Mount Olympus, which resembles a mountaintop palace, Asgard is imagined as a fortress or divine city, complete with halls, gates, and massive walls. This depiction reflects the cultural values of the Norse people, especially those rooted in protection, community, and readiness for battle. Valhalla, Hall of the Slain. At the heart of Asgard lies Valhalla, the majestic hall ruled by Odin, the All-Father. Valhalla is the resting place of heroes who died bravely in battle. These warriors, called Einherjar, are chosen by Valkyries and brought to this great hall to feast, train, and prepare for the final battle during Ragnarok. Valhalla is more than a heavenly afterlife. It is a reward for courage, sacrifice, and loyalty. The emphasis is not on eternal peace, but on eternal purpose. Warriors continue their training, celebrating each evening and battling again each day, building strength for the world's end. Other divine halls. Aside from Valhalla, other prominent gods have their own halls. Folkvanger, a field overseen by Freya, where half of the heroic dead go, a counterpart to Valhalla, but governed by the Vanir goddess. Bilskirnir, the Hall of Thor, located in a region of Asgard called Thrudheim. Gladsheim and Vingolf, meeting halls of the gods and goddesses, where divine councils are held. Each hall represents not only a physical space, but a spiritual domain, embodying the gods' attributes and role in cosmic balance. 3. The gods of Asgard, power and complexity. The gods of Asgard, known as the Aesir, are not distant or abstract. They are vivid, powerful, and often flawed beings who reflect both divine might and human complexity. Odin, the All-Father. Odin is the chief deity of Asgard, associated with wisdom, war, death, and magic. Unlike a purely benevolent god, Odin is mysterious and morally ambiguous. He sacrificed one of his eyes for wisdom and hanged himself on Yggdrasil for 9 days to gain the secrets of runes. His endless quest for knowledge and foresight underscores the Norse belief that wisdom is costly, and true understanding often comes through pain or sacrifice. Odin's leadership is marked by solemn preparation for Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. Thor, the Protector. Thor, Odin's son, is the god of thunder, strength, and protection. Wielding his mighty hammer Mjolnir, Thor is the guardian of both Asgard and Midgard. He frequently battles the giants Jotnar, the chaotic beings that threaten the cosmic order. Thor's popularity in myth comes from his bravery, loyalty, and simplicity. He is a working-class god, closer to the common Norse person than Odin. His hall, Bilskirnir, is the largest in Asgard, reflecting his might and the esteem in which he is held. Frigg, Balder, Heimdall, Tyr, and others. Frigg is Odin's wife and goddess of marriage and motherhood, known for her foreknowledge. Balder, their son, is the god of light and beauty, whose tragic death marks the beginning of Ragnarok. Heimdall watches the Bifrost Bridge and will blow his horn, Gjallarhorn, at the beginning of the final battle. Tyr, the one-handed god, represents law, justice, and heroic sacrifice. These deities, diverse in function and temperament, rule together in Asgard, often convening at Idavol, the central plane of the realm. 4. Themes of Asgard: honor, fate, and impermanence. Asgard is more than a divine fortress. It is a spiritual expression of Norse values. Central to its mythology are the themes of honor, courage, and inevitable fate. Ragnarok, the fall of Asgard. One of the most striking features of Asgard is that it is doomed to fall. According to prophecy, Asgard will be attacked during Ragnarok, a cataclysmic battle between the gods and their enemies, including giants, Loki, and his monstrous children. During this final battle, Odin will be devoured by Fenrir, the giant wolf. Thor will slay the Midgard serpent Jormungandr, but die from its venom. Loki will fight Heimdall, and both will fall. Asgard itself will be consumed in fire and collapse. But from the ruins, a new world will arise, and a few surviving gods and humans will begin again. This narrative contrasts sharply with myths of eternal paradise. It reflects a fatalistic yet hopeful worldview. Death is unavoidable, but honor is eternal. The gods know their fate, yet they do not waver. WIRD, the Web of Fate. The Norse did not believe in free will as modern cultures do. Their concept of fate, WIRD, was woven by the Norns, 3 goddesses who reside at the base of Yggdrasil. Even the gods of Asgard are subject to their decrees. This belief in preordained destiny did not encourage passivity, but rather heroic defiance. The highest virtue was to face doom with dignity, to fight on even when victory was impossible. 5. Asgard and the Norse people. Asgard was not just a storybook place, it was a spiritual reality for the Norse people, deeply tied to their values, environment, and identity. warrior ethos, and the afterlife. Norse society revered the warrior ideal. Dying in battle was seen as the surest path to a glorious afterlife in Asgard. This belief created a culture of bravery, self-sacrifice, and loyalty, especially among Viking warriors. The importance of Valhalla meant that many Norsemen approached death not with fear, but with anticipation. To be chosen by a Valkyrie was an honor beyond measure. The harsh worldview. Living in the unforgiving landscapes of Scandinavia, the Norse experienced long winters, famine, and conflict. Asgard, though divine, was not a paradise. It was a reflection of their own world, magnified, yet equally filled with struggle and impermanence. This realism, sometimes mistaken for pessimism, is one of the most distinctive aspects of Norse mythology. It fosters a philosophy that life is fleeting, but dignity is lasting. 6. Legacy of Asgard in modern culture. Asgard has not faded into myth. It continues to influence modern storytelling, philosophy, and spirituality. Literature and popular media. From Wagner's operas to Marvel's Thor films, Asgard has captured the imagination of millions. In Marvel's universe, Asgard is a futuristic alien realm, but it retains many of its mythological elements: Odin's wisdom, Thor's heroism, and Loki's trickery. In literature, Asgardian motifs appear in works like J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, which drew heavily from Norse lore, and in numerous fantasy novels, games, and comics. Spiritual revival. Today, some modern pagan movements, such as Asatru, seek to revive the Norse religious tradition, including rituals, ethics, and reverence for the Aesir gods. Asgard, in this context, is not only symbolic, but sacred. These movements reinterpret Asgard not just as a mythic place, but as a spiritual goal, a way of living honorably, facing adversity with strength, and respecting the natural world. 7. The eternal fortress of the human spirit. Asgard stands as one of the most powerful and enduring symbols in world mythology. It is a place of gods and warriors, feasts and prophecies, triumph and tragedy. Unlike the timeless paradise of other religions, Asgard is dynamic and doomed, yet no less divine. It embodies the Norse ideal, to live with courage, to strive despite fate, and to meet death with pride. Through its halls echo not only the clash of weapons, but the deeper rhythms of existence, change, struggle, and rebirth. Asgard is more than a myth. It is a mirror of the... Thanks for joining us on this mythic journey from Olympus to Asgard. These ancient realms weren't just places, they were reflections of how people understood the divine, the cosmos, and their own place in the universe. If you enjoyed exploring the gods, legends, and mysteries of these powerful worlds, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Got a favorite myth or divine realm you want us to cover next? Drop it in the comments below. Until next time, keep seeking the stories behind the stars.